Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connector with more of the weekly comic book roundup. This time we'll be focusing on this week's Avengers titles and Spider-Man titles. Well, Spider-Man related title that I picked up, I should say. Starting with Avengers number 34. Where we left off in Avengers number 33, Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu, attacked the Avengers, stole the powers or weapons of Iron Fist, Thor, Ghost Rider, and Doctor Strange, all to carry out a plan of Khonshu's, in which they will save the world from the devil. So our issue begins weeks ago in Egypt. On the west bank of the Nile, a secret temple beneath the ancient ruins of the Theban necropolis. Moon Knight has arrived. He is fighting acolytes of Khonshu. He's mad. He's mad as he assumes Khonshu has placed visions of madness in his mind again. He goes into a chamber of the necropolis, however, and discovers Khonshu. Moon Knight says to himself, over the years he's seen many things in the eyes of the god to whom he's bound. Rage, hatred, cruelty, mind-bending madness, but never such stark, raving terror. Khonshu asks that Moon Knight killed him, further explaining that exactly who it is Khonshu fears: Mephisto. And so Khonshu and Moon Knight go to the Hotel Inferno in Vegas, where Mephisto is being held. Presumably this takes place after the current arc in Ghost Rider, for reasons that will soon become evident. Moon Knight explains that he knows what Mephisto is planning, and that ends now. Well, Mephisto, of course, is enjoying a steak and explains that he was planning on finishing the steak. Likes them fresh before the soul is congealed. He even offers he actually invites Moon Knight and Khonshu to join him. And so Moon Knight, using the powers of the soul and powers of the Sorcerer Supreme, gets rid of the Hellfire bars and frees Mephisto. Mephisto was, of course, hoping that maybe Moon Knight would tell him to go to hell, as that would have been rather amusing. But Moon Knight explains that Mephisto will never see hell again. Moon Knight's able to block the blast of Hellfire before, well, shooting Mjolnir with two of the aunts tied to it through Mephisto's chest and stomach, seemingly killing him. He then explains that he will burn Mephisto's flesh to ash with the Ghost Rider's Hellfire. Then he'll pulverize that ash with the Iron Fist, and lace whatever molecules remain with the fiercest enchantments of the Sorcerer Supreme. Mjolnir will then scatter those remains across the cosmos for millions of light years, and that will be the end of Mephisto. Khonshu explains, however, to say, that won't be the end. Further explaining that it doesn't end with Mephisto. Not this version of him, at least. There are already others at play, going back a million years. Moon Knight's not happy. I mean, he's betrayed his friends. He's struck down good men to steal what's rightfully theirs. And he asked what more Khonshu would have him do. And Khonshu says, I'd have you do nothing. Because Khonshu himself will do it. As he takes Mjolnir. We then fast forward to 2 weeks later, New Thebes City, formerly known as the island of Manhattan. First off, quick shot of how it looks. Moon Knight further narrates, explaining that with the powers he gathered for Khonshu, it took Khonshu just a matter of days to begin reshaping the world. To better defend it, he claimed. To fortify the earth against the enemy he knew was coming. And those too blind to join us were deemed to be in their way. Mummies are rising from their graves, building pyramids of power at specific points across the globe. It is always night and the sky is filled with moons, and sometimes muffled thunder. It is the age of Khonshu, and it is the world he has wrought. We also see some mummies attacking Spider-Man, arresting him for failing to grovel in the name of the Night Pharaoh, though Spider-Man claims New York doesn't grovel. They must be thinking of Newark. In Wakanda, more of Khonshu's priests come to try and get the Black Panther to give up the Panther spirit. Yesterday it was 3 with golden clubs. Today they are 5 with blessed floggers to the jagged moonstones. However, before they can begin torturing him, Moon Knight arrives. He tries to talk some sense into Black Panther. Moon Knight pulls off his mask and asks the Black Panther to look him in the eye and tell him exactly what Panther sees. Panther says he sees horrors, cosmic horrors untold. However, it's explained that not all the powers that Moon Knight took were given to Khonshu. And he once again becomes the Ghost Knight, the Ghost Fist, or the Fist of Vengeance. And he heads to, and he leaves. Panther, however, has managed to break his chains and goes after the priest of Khonshu. And Moon Knight has left because some of the others have some of those who hadn't yet been captured have been spotted. And Moon Knight says that while the power of the Panther would be nice, they're going to save the Earth from demonic holocaust. It's the star brand they truly need. And so mummies arise from the ground where Iron Man and Captain Marvel are keeping the star brand baby. With Iron Man jokingly referring to himself as little girl's daddy and Carol as little girl's mommy, and well, Captain Marvel states that if she and Iron Man survive this, she's going to murder him. And that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to Captain Marvel number 17. Where we left off, Captain Marvel had been forced to betray the Avengers. Kind of a familiar theme. But she got the drop on the entity who was forcing her to betray them, and, well, things were saved. Anyway, it's game night at Carol's apartment. Present are Monica Rambeau, a.k.a. Spectrum, Jennifer Takeda, a.k.a. Hazmat, Jessica Drew, a.k.a. Spider-Woman, and James Howlett, aka Logan, aka Wolverine. They're playing poker. Carol's got 2 pair and a queen when the doorbell rings. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, arrives with a bunch of board games. Nomopoly, Twist, Settlers of Catan, Pachisi. Yeah, you get the idea. However, well, those aren't exactly the kind of games they want to play, that they're there to play. And she can't gamble. It's against her religion. But, you know, what if she can come up with something better? Jessica Drew is immediately questioning this because, well, she doesn't want to go put on pants. And hey, I mean, putting on pants. You know, can you blame her? But Miss Marvel's got something. An escape room. Escape from New Jersey. Even using the font that was used for the original Escape from New York logo. There's a quick flashback to 45 minutes previously in the back room of Escape from New Jersey. And it's a guy on his computer wearing a cloak. Basically talking shit on the internet. He's also got a lot of superhero memorabilia and other memorabilia. We got some lightsaber replicas, a couple toy Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, Star-Lord's helmet, Iron Man's helmet, statue of Galactus, a statue of the Silver Surfer. I think there's also a replica of MODOK's chair, though I'm not certain. And so, turns out someone wants to reserve or make a reservation for tonight. They claim to be Miss Marvel, and they'll be bringing Captain Marvel and some friends. Normally, they'd be booked for months, but Ken, the guy who runs the place, decides, okay, if Captain Marvel's going to be here, sure, yeah. Everyone, it's theirs for the duration. Back to now, Ken, or the Nexus, welcomes the group to the Escape from New Jersey experience. Logan tries to duck out, claiming there's an emergency on Krakoa, though Miss Marvel does make a point of saying that lying is not what Wolverine does best. He also claims he's got an entirely too soft, though Carol states it's very accessible and cuddly. Logan goes on to add that Ben Grimm is so lucky he had plans tonight. I need to have more plans. Hell, maybe he needs to have a wife. Yeah, a wife's a great catch-all excuse. Me? No, I'm sorry. My wife needs me tonight. Yeah, gotta get me a wife. And so, they sign waivers, paid fees, and have to be sealed in the room, which they have 1 hour to escape. You escape or you die. Maniacal laughter, and well, the assembled superheroes kind of look at him like, do you know how many times we've heard that one? And, well, admittedly, yeah, he kind of says, not die, but, lose the game, which is almost the same. So, he seals them in. And the water starts to flood. Miss Marvel suggests that everyone go power, basically not use their powers for this, but, like I said, the other room starts flooding. Spider-Woman immediately leaps onto the ceiling because, well, she's wearing sweatpants and doesn't want to get wet. So he figures it's time to, so Wolverine figures it's time to just try and cut out of there. He's already sniffing the walls and they smell of vibranium. Apparently, it's not vibranium laced with Antarctic vibranium, which is what Misty Knight's arm was made. The arm that Tony Stark made for Misty Knight is made out of. Wolverine can't cut through it. So, Captain Marvel tries to shoot it, and it ricochets into Hazmat's face, cracking her helmet. Monica tries to phase through, but she can't go solid on the other side. And back in the room she can, though, so. Miss Marvel makes a suggestion, hey, we're all looking at this from a, individual perspective. Why don't we try using multiple powers? Explaining that escapers are supposed to be cooperative. And Ken, the Nexus, creates these and runs them as his day job. So he's got to care about that. Going on to add that nerds are always interested in continuity of themes. So, Carol makes the plan. Spider-Woman, Spectrum, and Captain Marvel are going to hit the door with everything they've got. Miss Marvel is going to use her powers to protect Hazmat from Ricochet, and Wolverine is going to protect Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel might be a good healer, but, well, there's, I think, really only one person in the Marvel Universe with a better healing factor than Wolverine, and that's Deadpool. But it works. They get out. And turns out that Nexus has got mental powers she tries to use on him. So he's not a mutant, not an inhuman, he didn't even fall in a vat of acid. Doesn't know why he's got powers, but he's wanted his 15 minutes for some of them to notice him. And Captain Marvel promptly punches him in the face. And then he gets carted away in a sidearm, taken to the raft. He's actually kind of thrilled about this, and yeah, he's going to be on the news. So that was a bust. But Ms. Marvel's got another idea: trivia night. Team the Marvels, and well, the answer to whatever question is Captain America's butt. And the issue ends with him drinking coffee and Carol saying, no one tells Cap about that. And that is where the issue ends. And starting next month, well, actually, it might be later on this month, we'll be getting Captain Marvel will take a brief vacation from the Avengers portion of the roundup, as she will be embroiled in Empire. But we now move on to Spider-Woman number 2. Where we left off, something was wrong with Spider-Woman. She'd been hired to basically do a birthday party, save the day, and, well, but something was wrong, and now she was vomiting acid. So we begin. Jessica narrates, explaining she's covered in spiders and fighting henchmen. Who even has henchmen anymore? But she's never felt as powerful as she does currently. Abilities she thought lost or faded are stronger than they've ever been. She feels good. But she just found out she's dying. And then flashback to 2 weeks previously, after the events of the first issue. Jessica's employer for the birthday party drops her off with the night nurse. As she's being dropped off, the Rhino is promptly ejected from the night nurse's office. And she explains that, Rhino doesn't have an appointment, and that, yes, he does have a nasty rash, but her clinic is not the kind he needs. Spider-Woman helps out. Also, Night Nurse has some nifty Iron Man gauntlets that she's been using for... And in order to get Rhino to back off, well, Jess wants more of the acidic goo. So, Night Nurse does the blood work and explains Jess that Spider-Man's blood work looks different. Explains there's always a balance to it. Previously, she could detect traces of the radiation she was exposed to in utero, plus the experiments that her father did. Now, all she's seen is the radiation damage. And she explains that, hadn't gone to see anyone else. She's had this illness for about a week, hadn't seen anyone else about it. But she does explain that she got a new job and got a flu shot, even though she didn't need one, and they said it was a routine procedure. So, Spider-Woman goes back to Martian Pharmaceuticals, smashes through the CEO's window, and he explains what's going on. Yeah, he poisoned her to help her daughter. He explains that 3 years previously, his daughter Rebecca got sick, cancer. He had all the money in the world, but she was dying, and he couldn't do anything. So a friend found Jess's father's research. They replicated it and it worked, full remission. And a year later, Rebecca's system started shutting down. They'd gotten it wrong. Apparently, they realized too late that they'd only replicated the first part of her father's experiments. The arachnid-infused radiation that Spider-Woman was exposed to. They couldn't do what they did. However, they couldn't do what was done to fix Spider-Woman. They were missing something important, but they could reverse part of it. So she asked what was in the flu shot, and it's explained it removed the regenerative effects of her father's experiments. Martian didn't think that it would make Jessica that sick. But now she's basically just like Rebecca. And this was the only way he could think of to get help. And Martian figured that Spider-Woman could withstand what they'd done to her for a while, a year, maybe 2. But they developed something new, but they couldn't test it on Rebecca, not after what Spider-Woman's already been put through. Martian apologizes for lying. And Spider-Woman does kind of mention, you could have asked for her help. He could have asked for her help as opposed to, lying to her. But he also adds that it's possible that her son could end up just like it if they don't find a cure. So, they go through treatment. It's explained that the degenerative effects that Jessica and Miss Martian exhibit mimic the traits of multiple strains of arachnid. They're introducing distillations from new species to counter the effects. Basically, they're shooting her up with spiders to fight the other spiders. The early tests were very promising, and she should feel immediate results. And she's stronger, more powerful. Voltage of her Venom blast is doubled. She feels great. Well, there's still one thing that they need. A rare species of spider, Latrodectus aeternum, which has astonishing regenerative capabilities. It's been believed extinct for over 25 years. That's what was missed the first time around. One of the few remaining specimens was bought by someone else, though Martian tried to buy it, tried to bid on it, but without bid. So, small security detail accompanies Jessica to appropriate the spiders. They get in rather easily thanks to Spider-Woman's pheromone powers. One member of the security detail, they find the spiders, but one of the security members gets killed, and turns out that the security in charge of keeping the spiders there. Also, the container holding the spiders shatters, and they get loose. But yeah, the woman guarding the spiders is Octavia Vermis, daughter of Count Otto Vermis. Someone that simply put, Jess knows from her past and killed. Octavia explains that she harbors no hard feelings toward Jessica for the death of her father, going on to add that the old Lesher presumably got what he deserved. However, this right here is business. So the two of them fight. And Jessica's winning, and things seem to be going well. But there's one last spider. And Octavia wears it on her in a necklace around her neck, obviously. And she drops it. And so Spider-Man goes to catch it. As she falls, Octavia explains that not all of her father's secrets died with him. And she knows who else wants it. And what a lovely family reunion Jessica must have had. And she lands on the ground, leaving right at the impact crater. She explains that spiders don't have families. And that is where the issue ends. Now we move on to a book that is a bit less closely related to Avengers, but it's part of the greater Iron Man 2020 story, so iWolverine 2020. Number 1. So first and foremost, the issue focuses on Albert. Albert is an android replica of Wolverine made by on-off Hellfire Club member Donald Pierce to fight Wolverine, and then also to escort the smaller android LCD, who had a small nuclear self-destruct device implanted within her, to destroy Wolverine. LCD and Albert became sentient, however, and decided that, you know what, that's not what they're going to do. And so the issue begins in Madripoor. Yakuza Oyabun Kimura is informed that airport security recognized Patch arriving in Madripoor. Apparently, he's heading towards the Princess Bar in Lowtown. Kimura orders some special enforcers over there and want Logan's head brought back to him. Since Tiger uses the bar as a second office, she's probably there as well. So, if Tiger gets in the way of the enforcers, have them skewer her as well. And so, in Lowtown, double shot of Italy single malt with a water back and Romeo and Juliet are delivered to, are brought to Albert, calling him the Tiger, who then comes to see him and realizes, oh, it's not Logan. So he tells Tiger what's going on. When the Yakuza arrive, shoot the place up, and well, Albert and Tiger take care of the enforcers, and Tiger gives him a letter of safe conduct, as well as the address of Reaver's Universal Robotics, which is where Pierce is. So, she'd also appreciate it if Albert kept property damage to a minimum and departed Badgerport promptly after he concludes his business. At RUR, Albert shows up, but the Reavers are watching the lobby. Donald Pierce comes out and says, hey, let's discuss things. So they talk. And Albert explains the reason the Magic Board's LCD. Pierce explains that the little bomblet isn't there. LCD showed up demanding that Pierce disarm the self-destruct mechanism he installed as a failsafe. And there were apparently some valuable components in there. Albert fights the Reavers and manages to get information from Pierce. The Chimera Oyabun has LCD's head. The Jade Dragon Triad has LCD's arms. And the legs went to the Vladivostok Mafia. And so at the Sovereign Hotel, Albert shows up to go after Kimura. Also, Albert has trashed the Reaver's Universal Robotics lab because one of the living 3D printed test subjects basically said, kill me. Pierce decides he's going to implant a suffering chip in Albert's head and crank it up to 10, though. At the casino, Albert manages to find LCD's head. Apparently, she's cooking the books for Kimura. Best creative accountant Kimura ever had. Back in Lowtown, Albert gets LCD's arms back and gets into a bit of a tussle with the J Dragons before going to the Club of Azimuth and basically finishing up putting LCD back together. Apparently, she likes her new look, and her torso was dressed as a schoolgirl. She thinks it's humiliating in a detached way, but LCD likes the new look. It's very anime. And so the Reavers are planning to go after Albert, as are Kimura and his boys, as are the Jade Dragons, and the Vladivostok Mafia. Yeah, and that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to the final book for the video, Venom, number 26. Where we left off, Venom had informed the Avengers about the threat of Null, told them everything he could, and also began looking into what's going on with his son, Dylan. So we begin. Some guy's running through an alleyway from a shadowy figure, and runs into Eddie Brock. The shadowy figure catches up, though, and, well, it's the symbiote. Then Eddie explains that he got tired of running, so he figured he'd have the symbiote bring the guy to Eddie instead. And he just wants information. He tells the guy that he can either lie to Venom or he can live, but not both. So later on, Eddie's back home talking with Dylan and his son, and you know, they got to figure out what's going on with. They got to figure out what's going on with Dylan. And so they swing across town, but someone is watching them. They're a cobbled together suit of armor. They arrive at a warehouse, and Eddie knocks. No answer. Tries to punch down the door. Just as the door opens and Eddie falls flat on his face. The warehouse is another warehouse owned by none other than the Maker, who does explain that Eddie simply could have just simply called, but, well, the Maker changed his number. However, the symbiote explains something's not right. There's a hole where the Maker should be. Maker goes on to explain that he knows about Dylan's powers, and it's good that everyone's aware of this, and he hopes that will help them when Null arrives. And he explains that he's taken all he needs. He's taken all he needs from studying Eddie, his other, and his child, and he's leaving, or rather, they are. However, it's explained that he's not wearing it. That the symbiote is the Venom symbiote from the Maker's home Earth, Earth 1610, the Ultimate Universe. The symbiote there was made in a lab, synthetic, artificial. And actually, I'll say this, the Maker all venomed up bears a very striking resemblance to a slimy black creature from pop culture. Especially with the elongated helmet. However, the armored person tracking down Venom shows up. Venom and is it Virus? Is that the guy's name? Venom and the new arrival duke it out. The portal that Maker was working on gets activated. Maker gets sucked through, and then so do Eddie and Dylan, with Virus following. Maker comes to. He's home. New York is burning. There's a picture of Iron Man on a side of a building saying "Help us, Iron Man." Another one of Captain America at the bottom, Cap and Thor asking where are the Ultimates. He's home, and this is perfect. However, Eddie and Dylan wake up somewhere very different. Apparently, everything is very loud to both Dylan and the symbiote. And they look out at the city, and every building has the same logo on it. That being Null's logo. As this is called Venom Beyond, it's safe to assume that they're in the future. That is where the issue ends. And that's it for this portion of the Roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.